Welcome, traveler! Today we are continuing our Dark Souls characters into MTG Legends series. The duo we'll showcase today are the Commander of Knights Ornstein and the Royal Executioner Smough. This is Eve. If you are interested, come take a peek into the cauldron. We went from the easiest boss last episode to the strongest in this one, arguably in the entire game, and at the very least in the base game. Ornstein and Smough wear glimmering golden armor, both have lightning powers and are towering menaces, tasked with the sole purpose of preventing anyone from reaching the goddess Guinevere. Ornstein may not like it, but I decided to make them partners, with the Knight's Commander having the role of exposing enemies and the Executioner to take them down for the win. I avoided to use their second phase mechanic. Having two commanders is already a powerful option, and giving them something like a transform mechanic would have been too much, especially in terms of complexity. Two double-phased commanders is too much to keep track of, and likely also too good. And now, let's take a look at where this duo fits into the cauldron. Being a loyal Dragon Slayer, commander of the most elite group in the four Holy Knights of Gwyn, honor-bound by his lord orders to keep watch over Guinevere, we place Ornstein without a doubt in white. None of the two are driven from curiosity, sense of discovery, nor are particularly keen on long-term plans. They do not belong in blue. Master of Lightning, swift as an eagle, relentless attacker. All of this describes Ornstein, while legal to Gwyn had sworn an oath to his firstborn as well, and the third game he opts to leave Smough alone and go search for him, driven not by obligation but by pride and maybe even friendship. We can say he's also red. A cannibal, Smough isn't an executioner just for profession, but also for pleasure. His ambition was always to be included among the Holy Knights of Gwyn, but he was never allowed to, due to his sinister personality and revolting appetites. The executioner fits black perfectly. While his partner attacks with grace and precise strikes, Smough uses his raw massive maul to fight. His strength alone wins him combats. He also wears a comically oversized armor over his body in an attempt to inspire primal fear and physical superiority in his opponents at first glance. He fights like a green creature. In the end, we are looking at a Boros and Golgari pairing. Starting with Ornstein, Boros and 2 generic, is a legendary creature demigod knight, is a 5/3 and has first strike. He hits harder than most for his cost and is very hard to beat in combat due to his superior range with spear and lightning, represented with first strike. Whenever you attack with 2 or more legendary creatures, you may untap any number of target creature defending player controls. Creatures must block each attack with this combat if able, and you choose how. Hard to read but easy to explain. Similar to the original Odric, once you amass enough bodies you get to dictate the flow of battle. But unlike him, Ornstein is used to command Holy Knights, so you'll need at least 2 legends to be attacking. He doesn't have to be one of them, and I chose 2 instead of more, so that if you got just him and Smough, you'll be able to use his ability and won't be forced to play a Legend Matters deck, even if you very much could. Another difference from Odric is that Ornstein is tasked to take down every threat to Honor Londo, and is honor-bound to take them on in direct combat, so every creature that can block must do so, and every attacker must be blocked, even if you can choose how they do it. For example, if you got 2 attackers against 4 blockers, you can assign 3 blockers to one of them and 1 to the other, or 2 and 2, but not 4 and 0 or 1 and 1. And of course, he partners with Smough. Executioner Smough, for Golgarian for generic, is a legendary creature demigod warrior. He's a 6/6 and has trample. Simple and solid colossal dreadnought statline. Since his mana cost is very prohibitive, you can lure him on the cheap with a good meal that may or may not be Ornstein. You may cast the spell by sacrificing a creature and paying its mana cost reduced by the creature's casting cost. If you have any question about this ability, it functions exactly like a merge. The difference are, since he uses his mana cost, he doesn't get to cheat the commander tax, but you can even pay his colored mana with the correct sacrifice. The interesting part though is in his second ability. Whenever a blocking creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 4 life and you draw a card. Whoever is bold enough to stand in his way will get even, losing its controller's life and giving you cards. Obviously, he partners with Ornstein. Much like in the game, by itself, the Dragon Slayer will give you a headache, but will hardly ever take you down. And Smough, while hitting like a truck, will be easy to avoid, by either not blocking him or by putting a wall in front of him. Together though, they form an amazing synergy, allowing you to simultaneously get rid of problematic creatures, draw cards, and taking down your opponents. And now, let's see what cards will work well in an Ornstein and Smough deck. First and foremost, I have to mention the 2 biggest synergy pieces I came up with. These are gonna be the MVPs of any Ornstein and Smough deck: General Mahort, Elves Dragon and Ankle Shanker. With any of them on the battlefield, blocking becomes a nightmare for any opponent, and you'll be able to win very quickly if these threats are not dealt with really quickly. Otherwise, let's take a look at some more cards that will very much enjoy forcing blocks from your opponent. Lisa the Traitor and Knight of Dusk are among these. Any creatures with Death Touch really will be able to trade with anything, but Glissa, having natural Death Touch and First Strike and being a legend, can take down up to 3 creatures every combat without going down. Enables Ornstein and overall will be the best Death Toucher in your deck. Knight of Dusk is more expensive, but as long as you got a double black to pay, she can take care of any number of creatures. There are some cards that benefit you when they get blocked. A couple of the more interesting ones are Godsend and Likeness of the Seeker. The first equipment allows you to exile a blocker, giving you the option to pick off even those bothersome indestructible creatures. If you don't recognize Likeness of the Seeker, which is the backside of Azusa's Many Journey, is a saga, and on chapter 3 it becomes this creature, and whenever this creature gets blocked, you get to untap 3 lands, and untapping 3 lands every single turn on the cheap is nothing to sneeze at. Now, for some option to take advantage of our opponent's creature dying, we got Harvester of Souls and Morbid Executioner. These guys will help refill our hands and, unlike Smough, the work of creature dying in any way and not just blocking, so be ready for anything hitting the grave, your creatures count as well. Death Tyrant allows us to amass a zombie army out of the creatures we take down in combat, and Chevel Bane of Monster can do double duty, providing us a legend with Death Touch to enable Ornstein and also giving us life and cards for a low mana investment. If you wanna take down our opponents even faster, we can use cards like Assault Intercessor and Massacre Worm to punish our opponents even harder when their creatures hit the grave. Not always your opponent will put many creatures on the battlefield. Heavy cards like the Haunted Cycle or Slaughter Specialist to give them some will make even low creature count decks fear us. And last but not least, some funny option to add into your deck, likely not very good, but will probably get you a good laugh from time to time. These are the Wretched and Brushtowner. The new and improved Snuffydol is an half-decent card that works by itself, but in our deck it gets a lot more synergistic. The Wretched is a meme that is never played ever, But if we can force our opponents to block it with some juicy cards that doesn't kill it, nor does die to it, we can get some decent value out of him. And that brings us to the end of the video on Ornstein and Smough. If you enjoyed it and wanna see more, please consider liking and subscribing. Leave a comment to let me know which character would you wanna see next, or some other cool synergy piece I left out for the deck. This was Eve, thanks for watching.